Hey everybody, how's it going? This video is about making these smoke and fire and explosion type of markers that can actually flicker with fire, using electronic tea candle lights and spray paint and some cotton and glue, of course. I did a couple of videos on these, but I figured I'd make sure I did a dedicated video to making it, so I'm doing that now because I don't remember if I did or not. And even if I did, who cares? Here's what we do. What you're going to need is some cotton balls, some white glue, some black spray paint, and an electronic tea candle light. Now these are pretty cheap. This one won't turn on because this tab is still in there. These are disposable ones that I have. I got a dozen of them for pretty cheap. You can get the ones like I have all the way to rechargeable ones. Whatever ones you get is fine. If you didn't get the rechargeable ones though, the ones I've seen have like a little docking station that they go into to recharge. If that's the type you have, make sure you don't paint over any type of the connectors for the recharging. And once you put the cotton on, I would make sure it can recharge with looking like this, no problem. You don't need to go rechargeable. Disposable is fine. We're not going to be keeping this on for hours on end every day. So you can be using them when you're playing or on a little display board for fun. So even if they do die out, having these plumes of smoke still looks pretty cool. So, before I go into how to make it, I want to say real quickly, they do make them in different colors. I've seen blue tea candle lights and I think purple, if not red and green. Check on Amazon, it'd be easy to find the colored ones that way. And these too, I got these off of Amazon, the ones I'm using. If you're going to use a colored one, because this is sci-fi and, you know, having different colored smoke and fire is cool. Yes, I know we can make different colored fire here on Earth, no problem. I understand that in reality. But, I mean, for the super sci-fi tech of the Eldar, the Tau, and stuff like that, or the chaotic warp fire of chaos, having different colored fire might be cool. If you're going to do that, I would suggest not using black to make the smoke, because that doesn't look cool in my mind. This is personal preference. I would suggest whatever color you go with, let's say blue. Getting a darker shade of blue or a light shade of blue if possible from a spray paint. Spray paint's the best way to do this. And they do make blue in spray paint, and hopefully it's a dark enough blue or a light enough blue to go with the blue color of the light. So anyway, that's just a little side note I wanted to mention. So you got your electronic tea candle light. What do? You take your cotton balls, which would be kind of like a puff. Now every household probably has something like this, and what you do is you stretch it out, but not too much where you rip it completely in half, and which is pretty easy to do, so be careful. Just enough to make it look odd shaped. Now doll stuffing from the types I've seen look like just bigger puffs of cotton that you can rip apart, or cotton-like stuff to use for making dolls and stuffed animals and whatnot. That should also work. I haven't tried it, but from what I've seen of it, it has similar consistency, so it should work just fine. And it may help you make longer, wispier, cooler looking smoke. So if you have that, give it a shot. You don't have to go out and buy it. This will work just fine, but if you want to, of course, go ahead. I just don't know how expensive it can get. I'm thinking not that expensive, but you never know. So whatever product you have, once you get it to looking like an odd shape and kind of wispy towards the top, kind of like pointed towards the top, you take some glue and put a dab of glue on or a glob of glue on the plastic here, and push the cotton against it so it's nice and firm against it. And let that completely dry. That's your start. What you're going to do from then on, once it's dry, is you're going to either go to the left or to the right of it and work your way around, gluing cotton right next to the cotton you already glued. And when you glue the second, third, fourth, and fifth piece of the cotton on, what I suggest doing is putting a dab of glue on the plastic and some drops of glue on the cotton next to it, and that way you press the cotton together and push the cotton onto the plastic, and that makes it form a good shell of cotton around what you're doing, and it helps you manipulate it as one big piece of cotton at the end. And at the end, the top here, which you can't really see because I fixed it already, will have a little hole on top because you glued everything kind of like a big barrel around it. What you do then is you put a dot of glue on each piece of the separate cotton and you pull together like this. What this does is it closes the hole on top and makes it look kind of wispy, like it is here, like more smoke-like. And if you get these little stray pieces, that's fine. They may come off like that. Don't worry about that. That's fine. And then once that's fully dry, you get this end result, which is just a big puff of cotton that can light up. It's kind of hard to see, but there you go. It's lighting up and flickering in my hand. What's cool about this, as it is that you can use this for steam, like fire or some type of heat thing, like fire causing steam. Kind of like, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, have you ever seen like Discovery Channel or whatever, where they show you lava hitting the ocean and causing big plumes of steam with some fire-looking stuff? This kind of can mimic that if you want to, if you have any terrain type bits or anything that you want to do that way. If you do, you can leave it just like this, but we're making explosions of smoke and fire and wreckage, so what we have here is a canvas that we need to now paint. And the way we do it is a spray paint. And what you do is you do light bursts of misting all over it, kind of like you would for base coating, only this is more bursts of mist. How I like to do it is I like to hold the top end and then manipulate it kind of like this to spray the bottom parts, because I like to make my bottom parts for the most part darker. This one's a better example, because I just like having a darker smoke towards the bottom and then having it pluming out, getting lighter, and then having darker shades towards the top as well. Now don't make it so obvious. It's not a gradient. This is organic in look and feel, so it's not going to be perfectly structured. What you do is you just do light bursts of spray paint, and even though it's black, because you're doing light bursts on a white, it'll look grayish like it does here. And you don't have to cover every nook and cranny. There are pieces of white that still stick through, and that's what you want as well to make it look kind of smokish. What you can do is, if you want it darker in certain areas, put more spray paint on those certain areas, and let it fully dry, and then you have your these where is it? There you go. These explosion markings, which look very cool. The longest part will be gluing the cotton, but you can do 3 or 4 at a time. Really do glue it all up, let it all dry, continue, so on and so forth. But I say one afternoon, a few hours worth of work, not even real consecutive work. Most of that is just gluing it, letting it dry, so you can glue it, do something else. You know, glue it, go to paint other stuff, or glue it and do whatever else you want to do around the house or wherever you're at. Then once it's fully glued like this one is here, you take them out back or somewhere and you spritz them with some paint. That, you know, I would do half, let that dry, and then the other half. But it dries pretty quickly on the cotton because you're doing little mistings. And there you go. You can have a dozen of them done up really in one afternoon and ready to go and use on the battlefield. And it really helps enhance it too. It looks pretty cool with fully painted models and vehicles and, you know, terrain everywhere. It looks very cool. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Hope you weren't too bored, and hope that was informative and easy enough to follow. And until next time, take it easy.